There is a quiet moment before every great act, a stillness in which an idea first takes root in the mind. At that moment, the seed of change is born. Yet, what separates those who live only with dreams from those who bring transformation into the world is not the brilliance of the idea itself, but the courage, clarity, and discipline to turn it into reality. The art of translating ideas into action is not just about productivity or efficiency, it is about the human journey of giving form to the unseen, of honoring inspiration by breathing life into it through action. The book reminds us that ideas are abundant. They arrive uninvited, sparked by conversations, fleeting images, or late-night thoughts. But most ideas die quietly, unexpressed, because people fear they are not ready, not good enough, or too risky. The author guides us gently into understanding that ideas are like fragile sparks, they must be nurtured with attention before they vanish. The first lesson is simple yet profound: respect your ideas enough to write them down. Every world-changing invention, every meaningful business, every work of art once lived in the fragile pages of a notebook or the scattered notes of a dreamer who refused to let them slip away. But capturing ideas is only the beginning. The book urges us to recognize the gap between knowing and doing, and how it is in that gap where most lives get stuck. Many of us know what we should do: start the project, write the book, launch the business, call the loved one, or step into the new habit. But knowledge without execution is like a map never unfolded, it holds promise, but no destination reached. The author calls this the paralysis of potential, where people live in the comfort of someday. The teaching here is to move from thought into the smallest possible action, because action creates momentum. Like a river carving its path through stone, progress begins not with force but with consistency. Real-life stories bring these lessons alive. The book tells of a young woman who long dreamed of opening a community cafe. For years, she told her friends about it, drew sketches, and researched endlessly, but fear of failure silenced her. Only when she committed to renting a tiny space, a commitment that forced her into action, did her dream breathe life. The cafe, though modest, became a sanctuary in her town, proving that ideas do not need to be perfect to be powerful, they need to be acted upon. Through this story, the author teaches that courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to move forward despite it. Another profound message of the book is the need for clarity. Ideas, in their early stage, are often overwhelming, like clouds of inspiration too large to grasp. The art lies in breaking them down into small, concrete steps. Without clarity, ideas remain like vague shadows. The book emphasizes the power of defining the next smallest step. Not the entire plan, not the perfect blueprint, but the single action that can be taken today. A person who dreams of writing a book must not wait for the perfect outline, they must start with one page. A person who wishes to improve their health must not wait for the perfect routine, they can begin with a short walk. This principle of clarity strips away the illusion that progress is too hard, and teaches us that consistency in small steps transforms mountains into molehills. Equally important is the idea of alignment. The book encourages us to examine whether our actions are truly connected to our deeper values. Too often, people chase ideas that belong to others, society's expectations, family pressures, or trends that promise quick rewards. But an idea born out of alignment with one's heart will never lead to fulfillment, no matter how successful it appears. The author invites readers to sit in silence with their ideas and ask, does this reflect who I truly am? Does this action move me closer to the life I long for? When ideas and values align, action becomes joyful rather than forced, and even the struggles along the way feel meaningful. One of the most touching sections of the book describes a father who always dreamed of painting but abandoned it for a practical career. In retirement, he finally picked up his brushes again, but the regret of lost decades weighed heavily on him. Through his story, we are reminded that delaying alignment only deepens regret. Translating ideas into action is not just about achievement, it is about honoring the authenticity of the soul while we still have time. The author also speaks of discipline as the sacred bridge between intention and reality. Ideas often ignite passion in the beginning, but passion alone fades. Discipline sustains action long after the excitement has dimmed. We are told that mastery in any field, whether art, business, or personal growth, is not about bursts of inspiration but about showing up day after day, even when it feels mundane. A pianist becomes great not because of talent alone but because of hours at the keys, when no audience is watching. Discipline is love in motion, love for the vision, love for the self who believes in that vision, and love for those who will be touched by it. The book does not shy away from the realities of failure. It teaches that every meaningful action carries the risk of stumbling, but failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of the path. The stories within highlight people who faced rejection, setbacks, and criticism, yet found wisdom within those experiences. A rejected manuscript became a best-selling novel after rewrites, a failed business became the foundation of a wiser second attempt. The lesson is that each failure refines us, sharpening our vision and strengthening our resilience. Action without the willingness to fail is not action at all, it is hesitation disguised as planning. Another deep insight lies in the role of community. The book reminds us that ideas thrive in connection. No great movement was ever built alone. Surrounding ourselves with those who believe in us, who challenge us, and who remind us of our commitments keeps momentum alive. The author recounts the story of an inventor who struggled for years in isolation, doubting himself. Only when he joined a community of fellow creators did his idea flourish, because encouragement became the fuel for perseverance. The teaching here is clear: our environment matters. To translate ideas into action, we must place ourselves in circles that nourish rather than drain our spirit. At its heart, the book is also about trust. Trusting that the small steps will eventually lead to larger outcomes. Trusting that uncertainty is not a sign of weakness but a natural part of growth. Trusting that the act of creating, even imperfectly, is more valuable than waiting endlessly for perfection. The author speaks of trust as a spiritual quality and inner knowing that life supports those who dare to act with sincerity. The closing chapters are filled with reflections on legacy. The book asks us to imagine the end of our lives and to consider, what will remain of the ideas we carried? Will they dissolve with us, unexpressed, or will they live on through the actions we took? This question is not meant to create fear, but to awaken urgency. Life is fleeting, and to honor the gift of time, we must dare to act now. Every step we take toward our ideas, however small, becomes a thread in the fabric of our legacy. By the end, the message is luminous: translating ideas into action is an act of service. It is not only about personal fulfillment but about contributing to the world. Our ideas, when acted upon, can inspire others, heal wounds, build communities, or simply bring beauty where there was none before. Even the smallest action can ripple outward in ways we may never see. Reading this book feels like sitting with a wise mentor who looks you in the eye and says, "Your ideas matter. Do not leave them unexpressed. Begin where you are, with what you have. Take the smallest step today, and trust the path that unfolds." Action is the language through which ideas speak to the world, and the world is waiting to hear yours. And so, the journey of this book leaves us with both a challenge and a gift: to live not as dreamers alone, but as doers who honor the sacred bridge between thought and reality. For in the end, it is not the ideas we carry that shape our lives, but the actions we dare to take.